So, welcome back, Super Friends. Today, why don't we look up close, have a funsy little gandaroo at Wave 1 and 2 of McFarlane Toys Super Friends action figure line. Now, all of the packaging for Wave 1 and 2 looks exactly like this. We have that fantastic Super Friends imagery up the top, and on the back we have that fantastic artwork by one of my favorite artists of all time, Jose Garcia Lopez. Cool beans. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get each figure out of the package and we're going to have a look at them all one by one. But first, let's get them all in frame together just to see how cool they look. Okay, so first up we have the existing heroes in this line. And rest assured, there will be more. We're only on Wave 2, but we have The Flash, Superman, Batman, and Green Lantern. Each coming with a trading card. Here is a look at the Flashes. And on the back, we get a view of all the other characters in that wave. So, Series 2, collect them all. We have Superman, Flash, Captain Cool, the Cheetah, and Toyman. Here is the front of Superman's card. Ooh, I like that. These look a lot like the Super Friends cartoon actually looked. And again, the back of the card is the same as the Flash. Here is Batman, looking fantastic. On the back, we have the characters in Batman's wave. Collect them all, Series 1, Batman, Lex Luthor, Green Lantern, the Riddler, and Sinestro. That's right. And we have the Green Lantern's trading card, who is also from Series 1. So these are pretty cool. As you can see, each character also has some accessories. The Flash has this little JLA communicator, as does Superman, and Supes also comes with this kryptonite ball and chain. You're getting sleepy. Batman also comes with a little communicator and a gigantic batarang. Where the dickens is he gonna hide this in his utility belt? Green Lantern also comes with a communicator, as well as a green power construct baseball bat. Right. Now let's look at each one of these figures individually, starting with the Flash. So the Flash looks pretty much like he does in the cartoon, and you're going to hear me say that a lot in this video because I've already had a little peek at them and they all look pretty much like they do in the cartoon, except for the Flash. You'll notice that his emblem is all yellow. Now, I do realize there were times when they messed up in the coloring department and just colored the entire thing yellow because it was easier, but this was not how it looked most of the time. However, I do realize what they're going for here. The thunderbolts around his wrists and waist with the black outline, they're pretty neat and tidy. They're not perfect. There are points where they don't quite meet up, but I mean, for a mass-produced figure with mass-produced paint apps, this is actually pretty good. He's got the wings on the side of his boots, and his head portrait actually looks pretty good. You got the nice wings on the side of his head there, and he looks pretty much like he did in the cartoon. That's gonna be another thing you're gonna hear me say a lot. They actually look like they did in the cartoon, which is something that I really have to give McFarlane credit for. The articulation for these guys is your basic waist articulation around in a circle. They have your basic hinged frontwards and backwards legs, nothing else to write home about. They have basic single jointed knees, but they do rotate, which you know what I always say, if they're going to have single jointed knees, at least having them rotate is pretty cool. You have the arms, which can do really good T poses because they have that round hinge in the armpits. However, I do want to point out, at least with the Flash, when I try to move his arms up, when I try to go like this, you watching? Here we go. They go back down again. They don't want to go up any higher, so that's a thing. And then, of course, we have the head, which is on a little rounded ball peg. Doesn't get the greatest articulation, but I really don't expect these to get super great articulation because these are simple figures. And I think that they are designed and made to evoke kind of like what I would have had when I was a kid and the Super Friends was on TV. I'm just going to put these on stands so they don't fall over. So we will take the Flash and we will put him back here and we will look at Superman, my favorite of the figures. And we're looking at him number 2. I didn't save him till the end. So that's a thing. Anyway, I really absolutely adore what they did with the emblem on his chest there. I actually like the black outlines because it makes it look more like the cartoon. So that's good, and it's nice, and it's tidy, and it's clean. You got the Super Trunks area that looks pretty good for what it is. And you have a nice blue. I mean, this is just a really nice looking blue. And you got his super booties, which are a separate sculpted piece, and they've been attached onto the legs there. It's nice that he has the S on the back of the cape too that matches the one on the front, and it's nice and tidy.
And Soupy's face looks really good too. I like this. This looks like the cartoon. This looks a lot like the cartoon. And it's clean. The paint is really nice and clean on this portrait.
As for a comparison for the Superman, I brought in the previously released Superman figure from the Batman 66 wave, based on his comic book appearance in that line that continued on the lore of 66 Batman, and I brought in the DC Direct version of a Super Friends Superman. But you can really see out of these two that the new one uses a lot of recycled parts from the previous Superman.
This one is a little bit different in the blue department, as you may have noticed. And one thing I never really liked about this Superman was how they went about doing the head and the neck. Look at that. Ooh, I don't like that. That is ugly and weird, and what the heck were they thinking? And the spit curl doesn't come down like it's supposed to based on the guy's artwork who came up with this look that this is based on. And there's no S on the back of the cape, and it's a cheap ribbon material. So, I mean, just overall, the new one is a far better use of this body, and it just looks so much better. All right. Let's put Soupy back here and add the Caped Crusader to the order. And this is a fantastic looking Batman. I wish I had this as a kid. This just looks so good. It looks like it did in the cartoon. The blue looks fantastic. The gray is just right. You got that bat emblem on his chest, that's really crisp. That's really neat. And again, looks like the Super Friends. You have his capsule belt going all the way around there. Notice how there's nowhere to hide that gigantic batarang. And then we got his trunks, we got his bat booties, which are a separate blue piece that has been added on to the gray of his shins. Nice wrinkles in the glove there, nice detailing. The cowl coming down, the mask. What a fantastic head sculpt too. Let's see if we can get just a little bit closer. Yeah, that looks really good. I like that. It's tidy, it's neat, and it's accurate. I will tell you, not a fan of the cape though. They use that cheap-ass ribbon material. I would rather it be cloth, more cloth like Superman's and less ribbon like this. Here is how big that batarang looks in his hand. Look at that. That batarang's huge. Why is it so huge?
Here are all three of the Batmans that I have that reuse this body buck. I'm not much into the variants, but I had to get the regular 66 Batman.
I did change his cape. That's a completely different cape. So guilty as charged there if you saw that.
And then we have the Batman cartoon from way long ago, and I changed his cape too.
Guilty as charged. I gave him a rubber one
because I thought that it looked better than the ribbon that came with him. But they do use the same body buck, the actual torso and trunks area and legs, and I think the boots and gloves, I believe, are all the same for these Batman figures. It's just the cowl and the mask that is different, and the utility belts. And actually, the only utility belt that's different is the current one we're reviewing, because the two on the outside here are exactly the same. They're just painted different. Just for funsies, I thought I'd bring in Dick and Barbara. This is a mishmash of the Robin from 66 and the animated Robin from the Batman cartoon show. And this is the cartoon show version of Batgirl. And I think that all three of these go really, really well together. I think that they look nice on the shelf together.
Okay, so let's take Batman and stick him over here beside Soups and bring out Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern. And he looks great. I'm just right away gonna go directly to the symbol on his chest. Look at that. That looks just like the cartoon. You might be saying, well, why is the circle a circle with two lines, like one on the top and one on the bottom? That looks dumb. That's how it looked in the cartoon. That's how it was illustrated. So that's how they made it for the figure. And I think it looks great and clean and smooth. And just the overall green that they've chose to make this figure looks really good too. I really like this. This is so emerald green. And his face sculpt actually looks, let's see if we can get just a little closer here. His face sculpt looks nice. You can see his eyes through the mask, which again, that's how it was on the cartoon. That's exactly what it was like. You got his hair coming down, his nicely painted brown hair. And let's see his ring. Oh, he's even got the ring on his finger. So that's good. I mean, he should have the ring. If he doesn't have the ring, is he really a Green Lantern? Is a Green Lantern a Green Lantern without their ring? Is that a philosophical question or just one of physical, you know, is he a Green Lantern? You know what I mean. Now, you probably don't know what I mean. I'm just a dum-dum. Sorry. Now, this guy's articulation is much like Superman's, because I'm assuming, I mean, it looks like it's made pretty much on the Superman body buck, except for with a different T-crotch. For the most part, that's what it looks like. I mean, the boots are different too. And, well, I think that on the head sculpt, obviously, but I think this is pretty much the Superman body buck, which means the articulation is going to be different. Like, the arms will go up into a T, but then you don't have the problem that the Flash had. They actually move around too, which is nice. You don't have that piece over the shoulder getting in the way. Other than that, the articulation is exactly the same. Ooh, that waist was stuck together. So you know what to expect with figures like this. You know what the articulation is going to be like.
And then just quickly before I bring out the villains, I've got the 4 Justice League members right here from the Super Friends, and I'm bringing in the Wonder Woman to have a basic Justice League completed using these. This Wonder Woman is actually from the Batman 66 comic book line. They introduced her that way. I'm assuming they will probably use some of the same sculpt when they do the Super Friends Wonder Woman, but isn't it nice to see another mostly basically completed Justice League? I mean, sure, we need Aquaman in there and Green Arrow. Well, there's a lot of characters I could go on about, but this is the very, very basic Justice League. And now we have the booing villains, the Legion of Doom, or at least some of them. We have Captain Cold, the Riddler, Lex Luthor, Sinestro, the Cheetah, and the Toyman.
Each one of these inevitably comes with an action figure card. You don't really need to see the back now. We've seen them all. There we have Lex Luthor's card. And then we have Sinestro looking sinister, the sinister Sinestro. We have Cheetah in her cheetah outfit with the claws. We have the Riddler with all of his pictures of the Super Friends and Toyman. And we're back to Captain Cold. So that is a look at all of the trading cards. Yoink.
And just like our heroes, each one of these villains comes with at least one accessory.
Captain Cold comes with a little communicator, as well as his little cold gun. The Riddler comes with a giant communicator, and what I can only assume is a Riddler gun, a Riddler ray. I don't remember where this is from. I've never seen it before in my life. And Luthor has a giant looking communicator. I'm just assuming these are communicators. Like, I don't know what else they would be. Remote controls? I'm going to assume they're communicators of some kind. And he comes with this DeWalt leaf blower. While Sinestro comes with a little communicator and a golden set of tongs, likely meant to emanate his yellow power. Why aren't they yellow? Why are they gold? He's not a gold lantern. Here is the Cheetah's communicator, and here is the Toyman's. And the Toyman also comes with this fun little Superman doll, or action figure. Probably a doll based on when this cartoon came out. And here's a little peekaroo at the Superman doll from the back. Great! Now let's look at each figure individually, starting with Captain Cold. And then moving on to the Riddler, Lex Luthor, Sinestro, the Cheetah, and then Toyman. Now, Captain Cold seems to me to be a character that they put quite a bit of thought into when they made this guy. Because they gave him new furry gauntlets. They gave him his own belt. That's a new belt. As well as the holster for his freeze ray, which actually doesn't open up. That's a little bit of a bummer. And he's got his furry booties around the top there. Those are new. Along with the torso. The torso is new as well. And of course, the head sculpt. That is fantastic. I like the blue skin on this guy with the furry hood, the little bit that hangs down in the back. You got the goggles. This looks great. The only reuse that I can see between the previous Mr. Freeze and the current Captain Cold would be the arms, at least until you get down to the gloves, and the pants. The pants also appear to be the same. You can tell by the pockets. Got the pockets there on the front. So other than that, I mean, this guy was all newly sculpted pieces and just looks great. Okay, let's stick him over here by Batman, and let's bring out the Riddler. And I'm going to compare the old Riddler and this new one right away. And I'm just curious on how much has been reused. The torso, the upper arms, the lower arms look to be perhaps new, but I can't tell if the gauntlets go all the way up over the arms or if they're new forearms. Clearly the legs and everything except for, well, from the knee down, they're clearly new because this guy, I mean, he's got on the, what are those? So, and they're, you know, they're separate sculpted pieces, the bottoms of the legs. So, well, of course they are because they have joints. My God, why does anybody watch me? Here we have the gigantic question mark on his chest, and he's got another big one on his back. So he's really confused. No, I'm just kidding. And then we have his face sculpt. How does that face sculpt look? That looks pretty good. Hold on, let's just adjust the lighting here. It's a little bit too exposed. Yeah, that looks good. That looks like Riddler from the cartoon. No complaints here. And it's nice and tidy. Like pretty much everything else I've reviewed for a mass-produced figure, these Super Friends figures are actually fairly tidy. They're fairly clean-looking figures, which is impressive because it's not always easy to have nice, clean paint apps and sculpts on mass-produced figures. All right, let's stick him over here beside Green Lantern and yoink out Lex Luthor. Oh boy, this is such a great classic look for Luthor right here. This Super Friends look for Luthor with the purple gigantic collar and the green pants and the purple boots. And yes, he's even got the rockets on the bottom of his boots there. I love that. That looks so good. Little rocket chargers. You got the suit just looks so good. This is like one of the best ones that I think I've reviewed thus far. I really like this one. So much new sculpting here too. Like the chest is newly sculpted, the belt area is newly sculpted. I don't know about the gloves. I don't think I've seen these gauntlets before. I'm pretty sure that they are new. Clearly the legs are new. They have to be because they have the line sculpted all the way down the side and all these details are sculpted into the side of the figure. So that's pretty cool. Let's look up close at Mr. Luthor's face. I'll get you, Superman. If not this time, then next time. You may have won the battle, but I shall win the war. Alrighty, speaking of Luthor and Superman, let's put Luthor right in front of Soups and yoink us out a Yellow Lantern Sinestro. How you doing, buddy? What do you think? Do you think he looks good or do you think he looks like garbage? I think he looks good. The number one thing that catches me about this guy, so I'm going to start with it, is his face sculpt. This is so great. He's got that giant Sinestro cranium, massive Sinestro head there. That looks really good. They did a great job. And the paint, just as with the rest of them, is really tidy. I really, really like how well they've painted the faces on these figures. This guy also appears to be made on the Superman body buck, but they've put this sculpted piece around here, his Kermit the Frog piece around his neck, so that's nice. They've got his belt here, and his belt is its own unique piece. Then you got the pants coming down, you got his booties, and his booties look really good too. What a fantastic looking figure, especially as far as the color balance of this guy goes. They've done such a great job. This is a fantastic version of Sinestro. My brain put fantastic and Sinestro together and came up with fantastic. They weren't even close together in the sentence, for Pete's sake. All right, let's stick Sinestro over here in front of Flashy Poo. That's right, I just said Flashy Poo. And next, let's look at the Cheetah, everyone's second favorite feline villainess, behind the Catwoman. Her face looks great. I mean, so many kudos to the folks responsible for getting these bad boys and bad girl painted up. They look so good. These really are what makes the figures stand out, is their faces. It's funny, her spots look like a cheetah, but they also kind of make her look like a giraffe. Instead of calling her the cheetah, we could call her the giraffe if she had a longer neck. Looking at these two ladies side by side, we can really see that there is some reuse for Cheetah, but there's a lot of her own sculpted detail. We know that the groin area, right, that the T-crotch is its own sculpted piece because Cheetah's got a tail attached to hers and little dimples above the tail. And then we know that the torso
is not Catwoman's original torso because there's no necklace. And of course, the head sculpt is its own thing. And the legs from the knee down are their own thing. The only parts that seem to be reused are the upper legs and the arms and the forearms and the claws. They seem to be reuses from the previous Catwoman figure.
I can't put an action figure stand on her feet because there's no holes.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to hope that she doesn't fall over. And if she does, I hope she falls backwards and lands in between the Riddler and the Green Lantern. And then our final figure for today is going to be the Toyman. Oh, I love this guy. He looks so good. That looks just like he does in the cartoon. The brown pants and the purple boots. It's too bad. It is too bad they didn't go with Sinestro's legs. The bottom of Sinestro's legs actually could have been reused, right? And just painted purple. He appears to be made on the Superman body buck, like a couple of the other figures. So there's not much new there. The belt is just a wide piece, but there's nothing sculpted on this guy. I mean, he does look good, except for when you get to this torso piece right here that makes him look like a jester. I really like that. This is a separate piece that's been attached up here to his body and his facial portrait. His head sculpt looks good too. This is always such a weird character to look at. And because he's so weird, he's actually really cool. I really like the Toyman. This version of the Toyman in particular is my favorite version of the character. All right, let's give him his doll. There you go. It's not a doll. It's an action figure. Yeah, that's what they all say. Let's stick this guy right here on a stand. And, oh, look at that. We've reviewed them all. So, thank you so much for watching, everybody. It means a lot to me. I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to tackle this video, and I'm using a new camera, and I'm trying to get used to the settings and figure out how I want to set the camera up between shots, so it might be a little different than normal. Sorry about that. I will get it figured out in due time. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It means a lot to me, and I will see you with the next one. Have a DC day, everybody. And you know what to do. Take care of yourself and other people around you. Bye for now.